Good morning, students. In a previous lecture, we have discussed about the ionization enthalpy and electron gain enthalpy. What is the ionization enthalpy? The energy required to remove an electron from an outermost shell from an isolated gaseous state, that is called ionization enthalpy. In the next, we have discussed about the electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy is what is the energy released. The energy released when the electron is added in the outermost gaseous state. Clear? And in that energy is required, so always that is energy your positive, because this is the endothermic process. In a case of an electron gain enthalpy, that energy is released. So that's why in that cases energy is always negative. In that we have discussed about next is about the period and group. When we move from a left to right in a period, then the electron gain enthalpy becomes more negative. Electron gain enthalpy increases. Okay? So that's why they become more negative. But when we are moving from a top to bottom in a group, then the electron gain enthalpy is decreases. So that's why electron gain enthalpy is less negative. Clear? Because in that case the energy is released. So we can also use the words from a left to right. Electron gain enthalpy becomes more negative. But when we are moving from a top to bottom, then the electron gain enthalpy is less negative. Clear? Next, today we will discuss about electronegativity. Firstly, what is the electronegativity? The tendency of an atom of an element to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself in a covalent bond. The tendency of an atom of an element to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself to form a covalent bond, that is called electronegativity. What is the meaning of this? If we comparison, that is the electron gain enthalpy and electronegativity. In both cases, firstly, electron is added. Clear? In both, electron gain enthalpy is what that energy is released when the electron is added in the outermost shell. Clear? Electronegativity is what? The tendency of any element, but to attract the electron pair towards itself. That is called electronegative. But main difference is between the electron gain enthalpy and electronegativity is what? That is, in that case is energy is released. But in case of electronegativity, neither it gain the energy nor release. Neither it gain the energy nor it release the energy. But atom of an element has its own tendency to attract an electron towards itself to form a covalent in a covalent bond. Now, example is what? That is a fluorine, and if we are talking about the nitrogen. Nitrogen, if we are talking about the size as between the nitrogen and fluorine, then the size of a nitrogen, fluorine is less as compared to that of a nitrogen. But in that cases, fluorine has more electronegativity. Fluorine has more electronegativity as compared to that of nitrogen. What is the reason behind it? Because due to small size. Because fluorine has a small size. Due to the small size, nucleus has a more attraction towards the outermost shell to attract the electron towards itself. So that's why fluorine has a more electronegativity as compared to that of nitrogen. Clear? In that cases, mostly we have discussed about the electronegativity on the basis of atomic size. Clear? If any element has a small size, then they have a great attraction towards the outermost shell, and they have a great tendency to attract the electron towards itself. So that's why we can say that that element has a more electronegativity. Clear? Difference in both cases clear na? In a case of electron gain enthalpy, that is the energy is released, but in that cases electronegativity, that is it has neither gain the energy nor release the energy, but it has a own tendency to attract the electron towards itself. Clear? And the electronegativity is based on the atomic size. Now, on the basis of atomic size, we have discussed about the electronegativity in a period and in a group. Firstly, trends of electronegativity in a period. In a period, we are moving from a left to right. And when we are moving from a left to right, then the atomic size is decreases. If the atomic size is decreases, they have a greater attraction between nucleus and outermost shell. Firstly, atomic size is decreases. If the atomic size is less, then they have a great attraction between the nucleus and the outermost shell, and they have great or more tendency to attract the electron towards itself. Yeah, they have a small size, they have a great tendency to attract the electron towards itself. Clear? This is about the trends of electronegativity in a period. Second one is, next one is trends of electronegativity in a group. In a group, we are moving from a top to bottom. When we are moving from a top to bottom, then the atomic size is increases. If the atomic size is increased, then they have a less attraction between nucleus and outermost shell. If the nucleus has a less attraction, size is more, then they have a less tendency to attract the electron towards itself. Clear? About the electronegativity is clear na? Mostly they are dependent upon the atomic size. But there are the other factors that depend upon the electronegativity. We have mostly discussed about the atomic size, but there are the other factors on which the electronegativity depends. Factors affecting electronegativity. Clear? First factor is your oxidation state. Firstly, your oxidation state. Firstly, this is a new concept. What is the oxidation state? Oxidation state is similar to valence. Valence means that is the valency or the valence electron. In a previous about the 10th we have discussed about the valency or the valence electron. Now the new term is we use instead of a valency and a valence electron, that is the oxidation state. Clear? That is similar to valence, means valency or the valence electron. Now we are using the word oxidation state. Clear? Now the electronegativity is how depend upon the oxidation state. In that cases, in a case of a valence electron or a valency, either it is a gain electron or lose electron to complete its octet. If they are gaining electron, means that they are forming a cations. Clear? Second one, if they are if they are losing electron, they are forming cations. If they are gaining electron, they are forming anions. And cations have more electronegative. That is the cations have a more electronegativity. If they are the cations, if we are talking about the sodium positive, then it have a great tendency because size is small now. So that's why it has a great tendency to attract the electron towards itself, and we can say that more electronegativity. If the oxidation state is exist in the anions, anions means they are gaining electron and they have a less electronegative. They have a less tendency to attract the electron towards itself. For example, if we are talking about the fluorine negative. Fluorine negative means 9 electron is already, one is it is added to form a anion. 10 electrons are there, but they have a less tendency. Nuclear charge is less, but the electron is more. So that's why electronegativity is they have a less tendency to attract the electron towards its ends. So that's why we can say that anions have a less electronegativity as compared to that of cations. Clear? First is on a oxidation state. Second factor is type of hybridization. hybridization topic we have discussed in detail in the next chapter. Full topic is there, but for understanding hybridization like this: sp, sp2, sp3, clear? Or dsp, d square sp, d s square p, clear? Like this. But in that cases, if the s, we have discussed about the penetration effect. S has a more penetrating than as compared to that of P, as compared to that of F, D, as compared to that of F due to its shapes. If the S effect is, in that case, S effect is 50 and P effect is also 50. But in that case, S effect is 33. In that case, S effect here, P effect here 67. In this, S effect is 25 and is in this 75. Means where this is a S1, P1. Means from 100 this is 50. SP3, 2 means 2 part of a P and 1 part of a S. 33 and 67, it becomes 100 like this. If the S effect is more in a hybridization, then they have a more electronegativity. Clear how the electronegativity is based on the hybridization. If the S effect is more, in the first case the S effect is more, so SP hybridization has a more electronegativity. Clear? And how can we find SP, SP2, SP3D? There are a lot of hybridization that will be discussed in a fourth chapter, in a fuller topic, that is what is the hybridization. Next one factor is the nature of substitutes. Nature of substitutes. Now, what are the substitutes? That is, I am taking example NCH3, CCl3, CF. In that case, that is the bonding is between the carbon and hydrogen. In this, bonding is between the carbon and chlorine. In this, bonding is between the carbon and fluorine. Tetrafluorocarbon, and this is your CH3. That is the ethene. Clear? Next is the bonding also. In that case is better. Now substitute this one: hydrogen, chlorine, and fluorine. Clear? Now fluorine has a, in that cases hydrogen is not a more inductive effect. What is our now inductive effect? Hydrogen is always electropositive in nature. They neither form in a form of H negative. So it has a tendency to lose electron towards carbon. But in a case of a chlorine, they have a greater tendency to attract the electron towards itself. And Now fluorine has a small size. They have a great tendency to attract the electrons towards this. Now, what is the inductive effect? That attracting the electrons, which substitute has a more electronegativity nature, more electronegativity, then they have a more inductive effect. That element or atom has a greater tendency to attract the electron towards itself. Means carbon की करूँगा lose करूँगा electron, किनु fluorine to complete the octet of a fluorine. So in that case, electrons are moves from a carbon to fluorine. But chlorine has a greater size. So chlorine has a lesser tendency to get the electrons from a carbon. But in a case of a hydrogen that have a carbon completely its valency octet to gain the electron from a hydrogen. So that's why this arrow shows the movement of electron. Clear? Now the nature of a substitute means if the substitute is more electronegative, okay, then they have a greater tendency to attract the electron towards itself, and the electronegativity is also increases. Clear? Now from that, CF3 is more electronegative as compared to that of CCl3 as compared to that CH3. Clear? Today we will discuss about the electronegativity. Next, from that, next topic here, metallic and non-metallic. Correct. In a metallic and non-metallic reactor also depend upon the electronegativity. If the element is more electronegative in nature, then it shows the non-metallic properties. Means that they have a tendency to gaining the electron. If they are a tendency to gain the electrons, then they have a non-metallic in nature. If the electronegativity is less electronegativity, then they have a metallic in nature. They show the metallic properties like metals. Clear? Now, form an in period. In a period, we are moving from a left to right, and when we are moving from a left to right, the electronegativity is increased because they have a great tendency to attract the electron towards itself. So that's why non-metallic character is increased. In a right side of a periodic table, or non-metals are present, that we have discussed in a 10th standard also. Now in a group we are moving from a top to bottom. When we are moving from a top to bottom, the electronegativity is decreased. If the electronegativity is decreased, then they show the metallic properties. Clear? And next year, non-metals oxides are acidic in nature. If we are talking about the non-metals, that is the Cl2O. Clear? That is the acidic sulfur dioxide ठीक है. These are of acidic nature. If we are talking about the metallic oxide, then they are basic in nature. For example, Na2, that is a metallic oxide, that is of basic nature. Okay, this is about the metallic and non-metallic scrap. Clear? Thank you.